month. It is, I think, 5 days now of fires in California. And I'm not going to say wildfires anymore because I don't for one iota of a second believe that they are actually wildfires. I think they are man-made fires, especially given how they are spaced out around LA and surrounding areas. I think that there's a lot going on that led up to these fires, and I don't personally trust that, the city of Los Angeles, number one, and Gavin Newsom, the governor, are doing everything in their power to stop the fires because they sure as shit didn't do anything in their power to prevent the fires. That's my thought. Just want to put that out there. I'm hoping you guys can hear me because I just jumped right into this thing, so hopefully you can. I was not here yesterday. My mother's birthday was yesterday, so we hung out with her and went to dinner. But today I'm back and I have a lot of stuff that I want to bring to you guys. You may have already seen some of this. We're just going to have a conversation about what's going on and the new possible information that has come out about the California fires, whether it's Pacific Palisades or the Eaton one, or there's one that starts with an H. There's numerous fires, right? But the first thing I want to mention to you is a post that I saw on X that makes a lot of sense on these fires. Remember, we talked about this, I don't know, a couple days ago. I said to you, if you look at the videos, footage, or surveillance of the fires that are going on, you will see a lot of houses and buildings that are still standing, and those seem to be older, right? Not newer builds. And I said at the time that older builds may have been used better materials, less wood, more brick, more steel, more whatever. Some of the newer structures that are still around, I said, may have used newer options that are fire resistant, flame resistant, or they had money and were able to douse the things with water before they evacuated. These are all options, right? But I did not take into consideration, and I know a lot of people probably have not, the changes that have been made in a lot of electric aspects in new builds over the past, I don't know, I want to say even a decade, but probably even longer than that. But I know for a fact over the last 10 years, there's been an uptick in the change in electric meters around homes, smart meters to be exact. And we know that Tesla's like, okay, let's bring Elon Musk into this for a second. So a lot of people don't like electric vehicles because the batteries have been known to just spontaneously combust and catch fire and burn your entire house down because your Tesla in your garage somehow decided that the battery pack that's underneath the car is just going to go poof into flames and there's nothing you can do to put it out. Fire departments have talked about it all over the country, probably the world, but I pay attention to the news in our country the most. They have talked about when there is a electric vehicle fire, how it doesn't matter how much water they have, it's not going to put that shit out. They have blankets big enough to cover an entire vehicle in order to put out an electric vehicle fire, right? Now take into consideration this. I'm going to read this to you. This is somebody named Matt Landman posted this on X. I don't know who Matt is. I don't know if they're like a big time person or not, but what they said here made sense. So I read it and then I looked it up. It says here, smart meters have lithium ion batteries. When these batteries catch fire, they have what's called thermal runaway, where they can go from 140 degrees Fahrenheit to 6,000 degrees Fahrenheit in just a few seconds. The smart meter is connected to the copper wiring of the home, which is designed to travel electricity due to its conductivity. Along with being conductive, the copper wires are also great at heat transfer via convection. So when the supposed forest fires hit neighborhoods but burn more homes than trees, the culprit in the unusual fire forensics looks to be the lithium-ion batteries. It's no wonder these homes are burned to dust while trees are standing within feet of the houses. These homes are burning from the inside out, literally. The copper wires in the homes are insulated and carrying extreme heat to every corner of the home. Welcome to Agenda 2030 is what this says. And I was like, holy crap, that makes a lot of sense. When we see, because we've seen it on all the news stations, on social media, you're like, why is that tree still standing? Why is the yard perfectly fine, but the house is completely burnt down? And then you say to yourself, but how did this car basically melt? Like it's completely gone. The car that was in this garage, because the melting point of steel is like, I'm going to make up a number here because I feel like it's like 4,000 degrees or something really ridiculous, whereas most fires get to like 1,500 degrees Fahrenheit or something along those lines. Like there's a nice space between them where a steel structure should not just disintegrate, right? But if you take into consideration that it could be a lithium ion battery situation, if these things really do get up to 6,000 degrees Fahrenheit, I don't even know how you measure that, it would melt everything. You would be left with absolute dust and nothing else. And then your trees may be fine, your grass may be fine, that blue trash can at the bottom of the driveway may be fine, but it makes perfect sense. So then I look it up and I'm like, okay, well, let's look up smart meters. And it says here, SAF's meter batteries are designed to last 20 years and more, making them ideal for choice smart metering where replacement is difficult, and these are lithium-ion batteries, okay? Then I look it up, and it says lithium-ion battery fires exposure to high temperatures. It says if they become too hot, they can become unstable, lead to thermal runaway, produce explosive gases, or catch fire. This could be a thing, right? This could easily be a thing why I think that the fires are being started to begin with. There is a video that I have on X here that I'm going to try to find for you. It shows what seems to be somebody setting a fire out of the Pacific Palisades, like off to the side or something like that. You guys can see here. If I can get the... Hello, we don't need music. Wait. So they're saying that this... Meow. They're saying that this is the possibility of the start of the Pacific Palisades fire, that's a person out there starting a fire in the middle of the really dry brush or whatever it's called, underbrush, because they haven't had rain for months upon months in the surrounding areas of LA, is what we've been told, right? I believe that these fires are being purposefully started, but it turns out that maybe you don't need to really do that much, because once you get into these neighborhoods where these like celebrities live and they have the Teslas, they have like the Cybertrucks, and they have their house outfitted with battery this, battery that, and solar panels and all this other stuff, maybe it has made it so that it's more possible for them to completely burn. And that's why you're seeing that it skipped this house but hit that house, but skipped this house and hit that house. That's a possibility. I saw it and I just wanted to bring that to your attention, because I don't think that somebody's going around and just setting each lawn or each house on fire. And I know the winds are crazy, mile per hour winds. They're anywhere from like 50 to 100. The Santa Ana winds is what they're calling them, right? I guess that's what they're called over there. But the fact that these fires have not dissipated, like they're telling you that there's a percentage that has been covered, but I have this video. Wait, I posted it on my X account. I have this video, where it shows you, that's not it. Okay, look, this is panning over. This is right now or today or whatever day, panning over LA, right? This plane is flying in, panning over LA, and it looks like a normal city. That's a whole heck of a lot of lights. It's a lot of electricity that's being used. But as they're going, you can see, in just a second, because I don't want to fast forward. I want you guys to see exactly how massive this Pacific Palisades fire and area and all the fires around it really are. I feel like Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass, the mayor of LA, are downplaying everything. Look at that shit right there. I mean, seriously, they're in an airplane, however, thousands of feet up in the sky. That is what they are dealing with on the ground. You really can't get a full understanding of that fire from videos on the street, but from the air, that is massive. And it's numerous fires, right? And it looks like they're all going to end up connecting. I don't know if that's the case, but it really does look like it's all starting to connect. Now, I did have somebody tag me. I mean, that is just, what the crap, right? So I had somebody tag me in a video. Let me see if I can find it here, of a railway. So we talked about it here, I don't even know when. We talked about it here maybe a couple months ago, how in California, Gavin Newsom has decided that he wants to do away with anything gas-powered, whatever, and he wants everything to be electric or hydrogen-powered, right? They want to do away with their regular rail lines, and they want to build a hydrogen, I think it's hydrogen rail line, not electric rail line. And trains coming in aren't going to be able to go into California if they are not electric or hydrogen, if they are fuel-based of any type. That he doesn't want the trains in there, because Gavin Newsom's just effing stupid at the end of the day, right? So somebody sent me or tagged me in a map that showed Oh, I hope I saved it here. I know I saved it in my phone, but that's not helpful because I'm on my phone right now. Somebody tagged me in this thing that showed the, I don't know if it was the current rail line or the proposed rail line, and it really truly does look like it goes through all of the areas that are on fire. Oh, come on. No, this is not helpful if I don't have it here to show you guys. What the crap? I love it when I'm like halfway prepared for stuff. That's on me, not on y'all, obviously. I don't think I saved it here in my X folder or whatever we call this, the bookmarks on X. There's so much crap here, y'all. Not crap, but like so much stuff. I didn't save it. So, dang it. Well, okay, so we'll just use kind of this. Okay, so you guys see this here, right? So according to, let's see if I can hold this up and not drop it or mess everything up. According to what somebody tagged me in, there's like a rail line that's supposed to go like through here, right? And it looks like it's the new hydrogen one or whatever. And if you look at where the fires are, which is obviously not this is probably not helpful at all, it looks like it mimics the path of the rail line that they want to get rid of to build the new one, because I do believe it is one and the same. I don't know if the old one has been demolished yet or not, but it looks like one and the same. But then at the same time, I'm like, you can't really build a rail line through these neighborhoods, right? So it's very confusing to know what's actually going on here. I do know that there was stuff put out by Gavin Newsom and by the city of Los Angeles in, I want to say 2018. Maybe it was sooner or later, but 2018 feels accurate, on how they want to make it a smart city. Now, smart city meaning electric everything this, and kind of like a 15-minute city, just a new phrasing for it, because we've all learned what a 15-minute city is and nobody's a fan of it, right? So they want to make a smart city by 2028. And ironically, 2028 is also the year that LA, that area, is supposed to host the Olympics. How are you going to host the Olympics when there's not enough in those areas, not enough hotels, not enough things to house the tourists and the athletes and the everybody else? I will say this. Everything that we've talked about on this channel for the last couple years has obviously made me a massive conspiracy theorist, because I've seen the writing and then it has come true a lot of times, right? So how does the phrase go? What's the difference between conspiracy and blah, blah, blah? It's normally 6 months. I don't remember how the phrase goes. My brain doesn't work like that some days, but I do feel like this is a land grab. The same way I felt about Lahaina, it being a land grab, the same thing that East Palestine to me ended up being kind of sort of along those lines, which, you know, a lot's been going on there since February 3rd of last year. But East Palestine, Ohio, with the Norfolk Southern train derailment and subsequent intentional fire by Mike DeWine and the fire chief there, it all feels like a way to garner money and to get the land. Here's what's true. Here's what is fact. Okay, let's go with fact. It is cheaper, okay, to buy land that nobody can build on than it is to buy land that already has a house on it and people living in it. Does that make sense? You have a house that's worth, I don't know, $10 million, and you're living in said house, but somebody wants to buy that land, and you're like, no, bro, I like it here. And they're like, we'll give you what your house is worth, 10 million. They're like, nah. And you're like, all right, 12. And you keep going up until you hit 20 million. Maybe they're like, okay, fine. I'll sell it to you for 20 million. Now imagine an entire neighborhood like that, where instead of being able to buy the land that you want by paying off the homeowners for their homes and they move out, now you're out so much money that demolishing everything and rebuilding what you want there, like, I don't know, apartments or condos or hotels or shopping centers, is going to be almost impossible because you spent all your money just trying to get the land to begin with. But if for some reason some natural disaster came through and leveled everything for you, well, you don't really have to pay anybody to leave anymore because the house isn't really there. Oh, and side note, insurance has already been canceled, so it's not like insurance is going to pay them to rebuild. And even if insurance was available and they were going to pay them to rebuild, do you know how long it takes to get a permit to rebuild a home or a commercial building or anything like that, or to get a loan to do it? It's not the same as getting a home loan. It is a completely different beast, if you will. So now you have these neighborhoods that have burned down completely. almost completely. We'll go 90% burned down. It is much easier for a developer to come through and say, listen, I mean, what are you really going to do? The ground is trashed. You have no home. I know you don't want to wait to rebuild here. It's going to take you, what, 5-6 years? I'll just give you, I don't know, couple $100,000 for your land because, I know what it's worth. And the next thing you know, you now have apartment buildings and condos and shopping centers where you had neighborhoods with families and children who played in the street and neighbors who, sat on their front porch and talked to each other, or celebrities, whatever. That's how I feel about this. I will always be cynically optimistic. I am cynical of the fact that these fires are occurring where they are and taking out some prime ass real estate that the people there are millionaires already paying taxes, but that's also something to think about. Most of the people there are already millionaires. It would not hurt them nearly as bad as if they went into a working class neighborhood and that shit burned down. You and I would not have the ability to just, that's fine, we'll go somewhere. Because a lot of people are also talking about the fact that you have celebrities all over social media right now, on Instagram and maybe even X, posting about how they've lost everything. Their house is burned down. You have Jamie Lee Curtis. You have, I'm thinking all the ones I've seen, Paris Hilton, Mel Gibson shit burned down. James Woods, his did not, thankfully. But Whitney Cummings, her house burned down. So many more that I don't really care about, but so many more that have burned down. Where are they going? Because this is what people are talking about. You have all these areas that are supposed to be evacuating, right? Evacuating because the emergency alert system is telling everybody to evacuate, but you don't really see hundreds of thousands of people fleeing at the same time. And where are they going? Because there's still hotels for rent in LA. Personally, if everything around LA is burning, guess where I don't want to rent a hotel? In LA. That's me personally. I feel like that's common sense, but whatever. So you have these celebrities who have just lost everything. On top of that, when they go back to where their home is, National Guard is there now, and the National Guard says, stand in this line, show me your ID, show me your paperwork that shows that you have a house in here, and you can go in one time to get all your stuff, but you can't go back after you've gone in to get what you need to get and to see what you need to see. Wait, what? But that's my home. Why do I have to leave it? Why can't I go back and see what's going on? There's a lot going on over in those areas that do not make sense. Then on top of that, hold on. Where is it? Please hold. I have it here. Oh, wait. So, side note, the death toll has now risen to 16 people. Fires have destroyed 12,300 homes. And as of right now, the Palisades fire is still only 11% contained. The Hearst fire, 76% contained. Kenneth fire, 90% contained. And the Eaton fire in Altadena, which has killed 11 people, that's the one that's killed the most, is still only 15% contained, just FYI. But the part that I was looking for is, just wait, because heaven forbid my bookmarks do what they're supposed to do. I swear this thing does not update like it's supposed to, and I'm about to write Elon a serious Karen letter because I save stuff to show you guys, and then the shit just isn't there, and it doesn't make any sense, and I needed to show you this. Wait, hold on. I may be Karening for no reason. There was a show more button. That's on me. I didn't see the button. So, never mind, Elon. You're fine. Do you, boo. We're good. Two things. One, these are prisoners that they have pulled out of prison to go help fight fires. I'm sorry. What? Now, this people may not agree with this, but I believe if you're in a federal prison and you're on death row, okay, you go put your life on the line because yours doesn't matter. If you're in there for something to do with hurting a child, especially, maybe you can get caught in that fire. But the fact that they're pulling out prisoners to go work on this fire detail because they did not want to employ enough firefighters, number one. They didn't want to have water for said firefighters, number two. And the city of Los Angeles is being run by a mayor who had no intention of running, just randomly ran because she wanted to run against the real estate business guy. When she won, had no clue what she was doing, did not have any cabinet picked already. She actually did a live Craigslist kind of thing. She's like, hey, so I won mayor. Y'all should tell me who to hire because I have no idea. She's got ties to Fidel Castro and things like that, but none of that's the point. But so they have prisoners working on the fire, and where is it? Come on. No, I'm going to find the thing because it's here. Where is it? Where is it? Hold on. Don't go anywhere. Stay. Please. Please stay. Go nowhere. Son of a... I know I saved this shit and I still cannot find it. So there was a thing talking about how there is a military, I don't want to say base, but a military supplies something in California, and Humvees were stolen. The place was broken into last week, and Humvees were stolen. You know, the ones that the military uses, along with machine gun mounts and a bunch of other stuff. And I cannot believe that somehow this bookmark is not here, because it's one of the most important things that I wanted to talk to you guys about. Because, excuse me, right? Like, how do you break into a military installment like that and just steal 3 Humvees and steal machine guns and everything else? And it's not being talked about by Gavin Newsom. It's not being talked about by Karen Bass. It's not being talked about by anybody there. And you have to wonder, do these things also coincide with each other? Does the theft of these things have anything to do with the start of the fires? How do you know? Because now you have the National Guard pulling up in said Humvees, like the same kind. How do you know that somebody hasn't infiltrated that National Guard or whoever else is there? It's sketchy as hell is what it is. Just so you guys are fully aware, it is ridiculously sketchy. And I cannot believe I cannot find the freaking thing that I saved with it. It's fine. It's like I'm new at this. It's like it's my first day saving stuff for a live stream. Maybe I'll get better one of these days. Today is not the day, though. But on top of that, but wait, there's more. My husband posted this because he's a sarcastic ass just like I am. And it says, tragedy strikes twice for BLM founder, Black Lives Matter founder, Patrisse Cullors, as 2 of her 3 Los Angeles mansions are consumed by wildfires. FYI, for anybody who donated to BLM when it was a huge thing and they were trying to push massive racial divide during 2020 timeframe, whatever, that money went to buying mansions for this woman, and now 2 of them have burned down. So basically your money has gone up in smoke. That's like not a very funny joke, but it's fine. It's not a big deal. So outside of that, let's see. How do we do this? How do I read this? What do we want to do here? Because there's more. But wait, there's more. On top of this, can anybody explain to me why Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, that's his name, they're in there somewhere in this video, are in these areas in LA to help? They don't live in LA. They're not important here. They're not helping. It's like a PR stunt. I feel like right now there are a lot of people that are going to show up to these places, and it's going to be to help their own careers or get their name back in somebody's mouth talking about them in a positive way or a negative way. It just really kind of depends. It doesn't make sense. Like I said, half my bookmarks are missing, which is absolutely fucking pissing me off. But there's one where Karen Bass, who is the mayor of LA, is with a bunch of people at like it's almost like a homeless shelter kind of thing, but it's not. But you know, like on Thanksgiving where you go help feed the homeless and you have a bunch of people and you do the food line and you pass out the food and you're all smiles because you want to exude happiness and stuff like that, so people will be happy while they get their food. There's a picture of Karen Bass and a bunch of other people like that, but they're smiling like effing morons while talking about the absolute mass destruction of this fire and people's lives have been lost and homes have been lost. There's certain times where I don't think a smile is really the right way to go. That's just me personally. I can't imagine being at a funeral and just grinning. It doesn't make sense at all whatsoever. On top of that, y'all, but wait, there's more. This is what I was going to show you. This is one of the houses that survived. This house has no smart meters. This house is old as dirt. So this house is on regular ass meters and it's surrounded by wrought iron fences and whatever else. And then around it, there's going to be houses that are completely burned down, smart metered up, like a newer home that probably had the smart meters and the lithium ion batteries. Because even if, that's the whole thing, even if it seems like your home is not going to be hit, if that heat hits that smart meter, which is outside of your home, hits that smart meter, that is all it would take for it to go poof. Now here's the problem. You guys ready for the problem? I'll tell you the problem. they continuously blame these fires, Lahaina especially, and numerous others that have happened throughout California, on electricity, right? It always gets the blame. Well, the electrical poles, whatever. Now it's going to be the smart meters, and it's whatever. And it always comes down to that electric company to then either shell out money or go completely out of business. That's what happened in Lahaina. The electric company that they said was responsible for it ended up being one of the bigger electric companies, and I think they ended up having to sell out to one of the smaller ones. I'm trying to remember, and do not quote me on that because I may be wrong. If I am, I will correct myself tomorrow. But it takes the responsibility off of the city, off of the governor, off of the state or whatever, and puts it on a private company who then goes belly up, right? Now, Gavin Newsom is never going to take responsibility for what is actually happening in the surrounding area of Los Angeles. He's never going to say it's because of his lack of give a fuck about his constituents that this is happening. If he had spent the money, these people pay taxes. Here's the thing. The celebrities are paying a shit ton of money in taxes. The more you make, the more you're taxed. It's pretty much how it works. The higher your income bracket goes, the higher your tax bracket goes. And these people are paying a ton of money into their taxes. Where are their taxes going? Because it didn't go to filling that reservoir that was completely empty. It didn't go to clearing out the brush that should have been cleared out. None of it makes sense at all. So I can understand if they're all a little bit pissed, but Gavin Newsom's not going to take any responsibility for it, especially after cutting over $100 million for fire prevention before the deadly wildfires, which we talked about. They cut $17 million from firefighters in general. At the very, very end of 2024, beginning of 2025, they decided not to test the fire hydrants. They canceled the testing of the fire hydrants because it was going to cost money. So you're telling me you have a completely empty reservoir that needed to get fixed and they had no idea it was completely empty. You have fire hydrants that didn't get checked randomly, because if they had checked them at the end of last year or the beginning of this year, they would have seen there was something wrong with them and had no pressure to them. Okay. So those two things by themselves or even together, very fishy. Then they canceled the contract of the people that have had a contract. We talked about it on Friday for the last 6 years as backup to the firefighters in case there was any sort of spark, no pun intended, of a fire happening, wildfire, that they were going to be the ones to stop it before it ever hit residential areas, where then the Los Angeles Fire Department would come in and have to take over, right? They canceled that contract. Every single thing that Los Angeles and Gavin Newsom have done over the past year has led to where we are now. You cannot tell me that this fire is accidental. You cannot tell me it is not timed, like superbly timed. I don't know if it's a I don't know if it's a somebody who saw an opening and took it, or if it is a planned thing by the Democrats in charge. It could be anything, right? It could be either or even something I'm not even thinking of and maybe you guys have thought of. But at the end of the day, you have the perfect storm is what it comes down to. Every single thing working together for this to occur and this level of destruction to basically manifest. I don't know if that's the right phrase for that. Donald Trump was in LA, or not, maybe not LA. He was in California with Gavin Newsom in 2018. And stood outside of a place that had already been on fire and said, this is why you have to fix this, you have to fix this, you have to do this. And Gavin Newsom said, I don't like you, so I'm not going to take your advice, and I'm just going to let my state burn, and it is what it is. But at least I can say I didn't take Donald Trump's advice, right? So now Newsom is pissed that Donald Trump is blaming Gavin Newsom. Trump has come out because, Trump does not mince words. He does not hold back. He is a president for the people, as opposed to a president who just kisses ass of the people in charge, like Biden is doing with Gavin Newsom by, on day one of the fires, giving him 100% federal funding for the stopping and the cleanup and the whatever else of all of these fires. Your taxpayer money, my taxpayer money, okay? Trump would have been like, bro, hate it for you. Figure your shit out. You've had however many years to figure out how to stop these things, to prevent these things, to set something in place so that this can't expand the way it has. So you have Donald Trump on social media going, Gavin Newsom needs to resign. He needs to leave. Somebody else needs to come in. This is Gavin Newsom's fault. This is Karen Bass's fault. This is the leadership of California's fault. And it's true. There is no lack of truth behind that. And Gavin Newsom is all butthurt about it because Trump said, they had no water in the reservoir. And Gavin Newsom's on video going, well, no, our state-funded reservoirs had plenty of water and blah, 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 blah. So Donald Trump needs to come apologize to me because he's lying and he's wrong and this is misinformation and Elon Musk needs to stop misinformation and all this other crap. And it's like, no, it's not misinformation. It's just something you don't want to hear. And then Gavin Newsom goes, well, the reservoir outside of Pacific Palisades, that's not a state-run one. So I didn't lie when I said state-run ones are full of water. And when you are the governor of a state who is in the throes of devastation and lives are being lost, and you want to be a petty little bitch about the fact that the one reservoir that was empty isn't a state-funded one, so therefore Donald Trump was wrong? Bro, not a fan. I can't say everything I would like to say because this is YouTube and they will immediately take my channel away for how I feel about Gavin Newsom with just that right there and talking about things like that. Because at the end of the day, it is on him to make sure that everything in his state is running smoothly. He's the governor. He's not the governor of just this little section or that little section over there or just the celebrities or just the ones he likes. It's the entire state. And he should be making sure the entire state is covered and safe. He should be up to date on everything that's going on. If you can't handle the job, don't take the job. Give the job to somebody who can handle the job and do it correctly. And it's not him. So that's that part. Ugh. Sorry, I get a little uppity, or that's probably not the right word. High horse? Yeah, we'll go with that. I get a little high-horsed when it comes to stuff like this because I can't understand people like that who call themselves men when all they are he may have, meat and potatoes, but that is not a man. At the end of the day, that is not a man. Oh, here's the one. The city of Los Angeles released a document in 2020 outlining how to make the country's second largest metropolis a smart city in 2028. The document is titled Smart LA 2028 Technology for a Better Los Angeles. So there's that. I will find the link to that and put it in a pinned comment here. I will also put it over on X if you guys want to go over there and see it, but I will get that and put it up for you. Now, just as a reminder, real estate is often cheaper after a fire, like a wildfire or a purposely set one, because the damage caused by the flames significantly reduces the property's value, making buyers hesitant to purchase due to the cost of repairs, potential structural issues, and the perceived increased risk of future fires in the area, leading to decreased demand and lower prices. Which is when developers come in and swoop it all up, take all of it. They swoop in and take it all. So we're going to see a lot of that happening soon. Side note, there was a burglary at Kamala Harris's Brentwood residence. That's all. I have nothing else to say about that one. Cool. I mean, technically I have a lot to say about that one, but again, can't say anything about that. What else do we have here? I have a little bit more. No. Oh, also, Oregon, the state right above California, was like, hey, listen, I can see that you guys are having a hard time battling these fires. Let me send you some fire trucks to help out and some firemen. People from our state, meaning Oregon, who are willing to risk their lives for people of your state, meaning California. So I'm going to send them down to you. So according to this, the Oregon fire crews were delayed getting to the Los Angeles Palisades fire because they stopped the fire trucks for emissions testing. Because like I said in the beginning of this, California has changed a lot of their laws on gas emissions and things like that, which is why they're trying to go EV. They're trying to go smart city, hydrogen rail lines, things like that. Stopping fire trucks from getting to LA County for emissions testing when 10 minutes of those fires burning is worse for the environment than any emissions those trucks will ever emit is gross incompetence at best and really more like criminal negligence, which is very, very true. So, again, Gavin Newsom can stand in front of a TV crew and a camera and pretend all day long that he gives half a shit, but he does not. Because if he did, he would actually be doing something to stop the fires, help the people, and instead he's standing around pointing fingers at Donald Trump and kissing the ass of Joe Biden. That's really all he is doing at the end of the day. Now, this needs to be brought up, and then I'm going to let you guys go. I don't have enough information on all of this, but it is something I need to look into more. The water in California is owned by a family. The water of California is owned by a family. It's not municipal water. It's not this, that. It's owned. So billionaire Linda Resnick, her family owns 60 to 75% of the water in California. Her family donates huge amounts of money to Democrats. She donated to stop Gavin Newsom's recall because they tried to recall it and him or whatever. They use over 150 billion gallons of water every year. Her family was in the 1994 secret meeting that officially ended water being a public right in California. Okay, anyway, they're the largest agricultural owners in California, and their farms use more water than all homes in Los Angeles combined. Linda and Stuart Resnick own Fiji Water, pomegranate juice, Wonderful Pistachios, and like a lot of other food companies, but those three a lot of people know. You've seen the commercials everywhere. They tell you to go drink the palm juice. It's great for your digestive system and your immune system and whatever else. Wonderful Pistachios are great for you. Fiji Water, I mean, it's straight from the mountains in Fiji. It's not, those are three amazing things that you should be purchasing so that they can continue buying up California water, I guess. They face lawsuits related to their water management practices with allegations of profiting from selling water stored in the Kern Water Bank to non-members at a profit, violating public utility laws. Now, Kern Water Bank. So that's like your water towers that you see in your neighborhoods. Or let's say you have a water reservoir and you're like, well, I need that water reservoir for my pistachio farm over here. I know the people of LA, it'll be fine. I'm going to take all that water from this reservoir, 117 million gallons, and I'm going to use it to continue growing my pistachios because this drought that we've had for the last 8 months is really hurting my business. So I'm going to take this water over here and then, oh no, there's a fire. Well, unfortunately, there's no water left in this reservoir, but my pistachios are growing. I do not know that's a thing. That's my whole scenario that I'm putting out there for you guys. Do not take that as fact. That is just a scenario that I could see happening. Okay. It says here the Resnicks have been accused of using their wealth to influence water policy and politics, and they pay off Democrats and Gavin Newsom specifically to keep their scam going. So this is her, in case you guys want to see what she looks like. And her husband kind of looks like the Crypt Keeper. I saw a picture of him earlier. But when a business owns the majority of water in the same area that is burning to the ground, it's not a good look. It's not a good look, and it does not look good for anybody. The last thing I want to show you, remember yesterday? Nope, Friday, because yesterday we weren't here. On Friday, I showed you the shopping center, Pacific Palisades Shopping Center, that was still standing, 100% untouched. And I said then, because I had no proof, I said then either the builder, who was the person who was running for mayor of LA, but Karen Bass won, Rick Caruso. I said he either built this shopping center with newer materials that are fireproof, fire retardant, fire whatever, to withstand the possibility of this because he knows that California burns, or he had everything sprayed down with water so that it would not catch fire. Well, it turns out it wasn't the first part, it was the second part. So according to this is the play. No, but actually work. This is the shopping center that I showed you guys on Friday. And this is the shopping center that has been untouched by the fire. And it turns out, you guys see all that water everywhere? He brought in his own personal trucks to spray down his buildings so that there would not be loss of commercial property. Now, I'm going to sound like a raging whatever when I say this, but I do not fault him for this. A lot of people are very mad. They're like, you're telling me that you were able to bring in trucks of water and you saved your businesses instead of saving those homes. Now, let me be the person, okay? Because I'm going to be that person. Why should he save millionaires' homes, number one, and let his businesses go by the wayside? Why should he save Diddy's house or Jay-Z and Beyonce's house when he could save his businesses, and people can still have their jobs. People can still go to work because their work did not burn down. It's going to sound shitty, obviously, no matter what, because it's still standing and that home has burned down, but you have to look at it from every single aspect and every single angle. If the shopping center had burnt down, how much money it would take to rebuild it, how long it would take to rebuild it, and how many people would be out of a job at that point. And now they're not. Again, if you want to look at it from this is intentional, whatever, this person might have known ahead of time to save it because when they build the smart city, they're going to need somewhere to shop, but that's that. Either way, he did spray it down with water, personal water that was brought in to keep it safe, and people are kind of jumping all over his ass for it because he saved his businesses and not people's houses. I can't really blame him, though. That's just me. I can't really blame him. There's a video right now out of Ashton Kutcher, who, I don't know how people feel about Ashton Kutcher after he and Mila Kunis wrote loving reviews of Danny Masterson and how he was such a great person, and then Danny Masterson from that 70s show was found guilty of rape and then had to go to prison. And then Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis were like, oh, well, I mean, we didn't know that side of him. For us, he was great, blah, blah, blah. Either way, there's a video of Ashton Kutcher standing outside of his home spraying his house with water, but then his neighbor's house is on fire, so he's spraying his neighbor's house too. And people are like, oh, that's so great of Ashton Kutcher that he's spraying that house. And it's like, hey, don't forget, just because he's doing something good now doesn't mean he's a good person. Just as a reminder, people see a positive and they forget all the negative that had happened before that one little bit of positive. Don't be swayed by little bits of positive or a TikTok video with tear jerk music in the background making you feel bad about ever doubting Ashton Kutcher's niceness or whatever the crap. Anyway, okay, I think that's it. I think that's it because, again, I have a bladder the size of probably a squirrel and I have to tinkle. So we're going to go for now, and I'm trying to remember if there's something else I was supposed to talk to you guys about based off the thumbnail. One, Joe Biden's trash, and it is his fault that this country has just been imploding for the last 4 years. So, no, we talked about that. I have another part that has Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass, and it says fire us. No, I've mentioned that. They both need to go because they're both absolute trash. And, oh, top left, Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard made a comment that now I can't remember because I can't see it on my phone, along the lines of taxing without, basically that taxation without representation kind of thing. And she's talking about people being taxed and nothing being shown for it. That's exactly what's happening in California. People of California, the residents of California, being taxed out the effing wazoo, and nobody knows where the money's going because it's not towards keeping them safe. So that's that. That's all. Y'all, I love you guys immensely. Thank you for being here and hanging out with me today. I'll be back tomorrow with more stuff, hopefully non-fire stuff. Obviously some fire stuff still because it's a lot happening right now, and I didn't even hit all of it today with today's live stream, but will be that and some other information tomorrow. I hope you guys have a fabulous rest of your Sunday and start your week off tomorrow with gratitude the second your feet hit the ground. That's about it. I love y'all. Goodbye. Adios.